of this unique university, my graduates, parents, well-wishers, ladies and gentlemen. Today is an emotionally charged day. We lost faculties who were vital in providing the needed materials for our students. The gap created for the demands still exists. We lost a father, Professor M.A. Dennis, President of the University of Liberia, to whom the College of Science, College of Engineering, College of Agriculture and Forestry benefited during his administration. Within 2 years of his administration, we had an increase in the master's degree among the faculty in the 3 colleges. To honor our late president and our faculty, kindly stand with me in a moment of silence so we can honor them. A moment of silence. The person who's sitting at the back, moment of silence. In Jesus' name, you can take your seat, please. On behalf of the T.J. Faulkner College of Science and Technology, Environment and Climate Change, the Untitled Chapter College of Agriculture and Forestry, and the College of Engineering, it is my honor to thank all of you for joining us today at the 102nd combined commencement convocation of the 3 colleges. Whatever means you took to be here, your presence with us today means a word to us. Today is a day of grand celebration. After the fast and challenging COVID-19 virus experiences, today is a day of turning back momentarily and allowing a heartfelt joy to catch up with us all. Your hard-earned study has paid off. Congratulations. Today, 789 graduates from the College of Science, College of Agriculture and Forestry, College of Engineering will be officially be admitted to the Alumni Association of the respective colleges. The 789 graduates include 258 from the T.J. College of Science and Technology, 89 from the Allied Sciences, which include Public Health, Nelson and May Welfare, 284 from the Untitled Chapter College of Agriculture and Forestry, and 158 from the College of Engineering. Wow, I don't want to take too much of your time. I need to leave some time for Mistress Faustina F. Reckliner, the Master's Ceremony, who will fill you in some of our activities for today's ceremony. Thank you very much for listening and welcoming our honorable guest speaker. We left her for a very long time. We are happy that he's back home today. Welcome, Prof. Chie. Before I take my seat, can I permit me to share this quote with you by the late Bishop Desmond Tutu, who once said, "We are made for goodness. We are made for all the beautiful things that you and I know. We are made to tell the world that there are no ourselves. You are all welcome." Unquote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean McLean. for that remarks. We have greetings. The President of the University of Liberia, Professor Dr. Julius Jonathan Saulo Nelson Jr., will now bring greetings.
Honorable Dixon Sibo, representing the Chairman of the Board of Trustees, officers and members of the Board of Trustees present, Honorable Albert Chie, President Pro-Tempore of the Liberian Senate, and Senator of Grand Crew County, and our convocation speaker today, Dr. Mrs. Miriam Victoria Goodrich Nelson, my spouse and partner, officers and members of the Legislative Caucus of Grand Crew County, and the Lydian Andrews, the Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Agriculture, present with us today, Dr. Moses Moreau Zenan, our Vice President of Academic Affairs and members of the University of Liberia Cabinet, the President, Dr. Edna Johnny, and members of the University of Liberia Faculty Association, the President, Mr. Lawrence Etua, and members of the Liberian University of Liberia Support Staff Association, members of the Faculty Senate, members of the Administrative Council, the President and members of the Alumni Association, Student Mohammed Kamara, the Speaker and members of the Interim Student Representative Assembly of the University of Liberia Student Union, special invited guests present from our various colleges, parents, sponsors, guardians, relatives, president officers and members of the 102nd graduating class of the College of Agriculture and Forestry, the College of Science and Technology, the College of Engineering, and the School of Nursing and Midwifery, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The McLean already made us to remain in silence, but let me do that while you are seated in memory of the passing Professor Dr. Amos Claudia Sawyer, former Dean of Liberia College and interim President of the Republic of Liberia, and Professor Emeritus Dr. Emmett Adolphus Dennis, the Titan President of the University of Liberia, and the Republic of Liberia. Silence, please. May their souls and the souls of all other faithful compatriots of the University of Liberia who pass over the years, challenges that come with acquiring education in a developing country like ours. You have finally reached the end of this phase of your academic sojourn, and the entire University of Liberia family is celebrating with you today here on our Fender campus. I'm pleased to also recognize and extend thanks and appreciation to Assistant Professor Dr. James McLean, the Dean of the Thomas Jefferson Richelieu Faulkner College of Science and Technology and the School of Environmental Science and Climate Change, which also include our articulation program in nursing and midwifery, headed by Coordinator Madame Cynthia K. Jones, Associate Professor Leroy Singbe, the Dean of the William Richard Talbot Jr. College of Agriculture and Forestry, and Hoodban Tooley, the Dean of the Engineering College, all faculty members and staff of the 3 colleges and nursing and midwifery program graduating students today. Thank you for the job well done in molding and preparing these prospective graduates to form a part and membership of the 102nd graduating class of 2021, the class of fruitfulness. Nadamina. Special thanks to you, our parents, sponsors, guardians, and members of the family who over the years provided the necessary support and encouragement to our students here today during the years of preparation in acquiring knowledge to be able to contribute to the growth and development of our nation and the world at large. We are excited to let you know that your efforts will not be in vain as these students move on to the University of Life. As a leading institution of higher learning in our republic, we are happy and grateful for the team of professionals and find themselves working with us, and I'm happy to recognize them today and appreciate your effort as you continue to hold my hands as we together brighten the light. Yes, together, University of Liberia family, we are stronger in the educational sector of the Republic of Liberia. After 174 years, our country finds itself still grappling with the challenges of nation building and infrastructural development, but we are also cognizant of the fact that we will not make progress as a nation if we do not make necessary investment in our young generation and to prepare them to assume the helm of leadership of our beloved Mama Liberia in the future. That is why the University of Liberia is proud to contribute to this process of developing and preparing young minds for the effective and efficient managing of our national platform geared towards peace, unity, tolerance, togetherness, reconciliation, and sustainable development in the Republic of Liberia. Today, we graduate 264 candidates from the College of Science and Technology, including 83 from Nursing and Midwifery Program, 284 from the College of Agriculture and Forestry, and 158 from the College of Engineering. We are proud of all of you 789 as you walk out of the walls, the halls of the great locks in Tenebris today. Liberia is in need of more scientists. Liberia is in need of more agriculturists. Liberia is in need of more engineers. Liberia is in need of more nurses and midwives. Keep making us proud. Keep making us excited. Go and represent us in the larger society with your knowledge, your talents, your skills, and your ability. As you are conferred and hooded today, I urge you to let your academic light so shine so that men and women may see your good works and appreciate your impact in society so that you can stand out among the others, so that you can be the light in darkness outside the walls of the University of Liberia. Like I said to your colleagues on a Monday, go out and shine. Go out and make a difference. Go out and demonstrate professionalism, productivity, and patriotism. Go out and brighten the light. Many thanks to Professor Dr. Moses Zena, the Vice President of Academic Affairs, and all members of the University CAP, the University Senate, Administrative Council, and the 102nd Commencement Convocation Committee, who contributed their efforts to bring us to this successful fruition of the academic year. Special appreciation will also go to our convocation speaker, Honorable Albert Chie, our faculty who is on steady leave or sabbatical, and now President Pro-Tempore of the Liberian Senate, who took off time here today from his business schedule to come and energize our graduates today at this commencement combined convocation. May God continue to work of our hand. May God continue to shine his face upon us, and may God continue to direct our path. Thank you very much as we together celebrate our graduates. Congratulations to the class of fruitfulness. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson, President of the University of Liberia. We now have another selection by the UL Chorus. It is my unique pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Albert Chie, a chemistry major, magna cum laude, who has earned the highest cumulative grade point average of 3.635 of the graduates from the 3 undergraduate colleges.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Wright-Lander, for the warm introduction. Sometimes the introduction seems so precise that you are not sure if you are the person being referred to. Anyway, I stay here with great joy and honest gratitude to the Almighty God, the ultimate source of knowledge and wisdom. God has always been the hint and source of my motivation throughout my academic career. It gave me tremendous pleasure and honor to be awarded as the valedictorian and the speaker of the class of 2021, Naninima, the class of fruitfulness. Honorable Dixon, who is representing Honorable Matthew G. Zazad, Chairman, Board of Trustees, University of Liberia. President Julius J.S. Nelson Jr. and members of the University Cabinet. Our guest speaker, Senator Albert Chie, President Pro-Tempore and Grand County Senator, the Liberian Senate. Dean James McLean, chairs and faculty of the T.J. Arrow Faulkner College of Science, Technology, Environment, and Climate Change. Dean Laurie W.C.B., chairs and faculty of the William Awatoba Jr. College of Agriculture and Forestry. Dean N. Humbu Tule, chairmen and faculty of the College of Engineering. Mrs. Cynthia Jones, coordinator, School of the Nelson and Mary Referee. Senators, academic directors, family, friends, well-wishers, class of 2021, ladies and gentlemen. Salutations, fellow graduates. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate each of you on obtaining your bachelor degree a few moments from now. Congratulations, we made it! It has not been an easy task. I am reminded of my personal experiences as I stand here in front of you. I am sure many of you are sitting here pondering the path that I've learned you here today. Our long hour of studying has finally paid off. We made it big time. Congratulations. I cannot confidently state that we, the University of Liberia, class of 2021, Naninima, the class of fruitfulness, have made our family incredibly proud. You can't imagine how relieved they are right now. However, there is something in this for us. Today is the best opportunity you will ever have to ask them for money. Also, I want our graduates to feel tremendously proud of themselves for spending 4, 5, or more years at the University of Liberia. We know what it takes to be seated here today in our black gowns, waiting excitedly to don our hoods and take our first selfie as graduates of the state-run university. First and foremost, I want to thank the Almighty God because He said, "Eyes had not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of men the things which God had prepared for them that love Him." I can boldly say, God did this. He's the reason I'm standing before you right now. I believe fully that this is one of the many blessings I will receive as I continue to serve Him with all my might. I want to thank Bishop Dan Hiwa Mills for his constant pride into my academics and the constant teaching on how to be a good student and wisdom on how to pass your exam. As I reflect on my life, I'm aware of how many people I have met who have aided me along the way. I want to thank my parents, Unakuma C. Riches and Georgia C. Riches, and all the other parents in the audience for their unwavering support. We owe you a debt of gratitude for your contribution to our education. Without you, we wouldn't have made it. Mr. President, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Senator, our dedicated instructors, professors, lecturers who work hard to instill in us a passion for learning, to our administration who chose to make our university experience the best it could be, our advisors and mentors who assisted us in determining what course to take. We shall be eternally grateful for your kindness and support. You prepared us to be competent professionals and made our time with you enjoyable and unforgettable. We ask that you continue to support us as we embark on our future endeavors. I want to say thank you to Mr. Francis Gabo, coordinator of the chemistry department, Chairman Fakwadi P. Smo, Chairman of the Environmental Study Undergrad Department, Chairman Bobby Sibo, Chairman of the Physics Department, Chair Samson Chie, Chairman of the Biological Sciences Department, Chair J. Gwamake Sulu, Chairman of the Chemistry Department, and Dr. James McLean, Dean of the Science College. You are the impetum of what a good mentor shall be. You are excellent educators, bosses, leaders, and friends. It would be impossible to count all that you have helped us in our academic sojourn. Thank you so much for all you have done. To my comrades and everyone, I am deeply grateful for your future contribution, which have made this day a reality. It would be no point being here without you. Many years ago, I had no idea I would end up at the state-run University of Liberia. Like many Liberian parents, my parents value education, even when the resources are scarce. But it was a collaborative effort of the people, like the leaders of our nation, heads of the administration of the University of Liberia, deans of the various colleges, chairs of the department, faculty, staff, and members of the university, the Student Association, who have devoted much of their time and energy to contribute not just to their well-being, but to the well-being of others. Like many of my fellow graduates, I entered the College of Science and Technology because I wanted a college experience that would challenge me to find solutions to some of our country problems and reap my roles in the health sector, which I believe is the right door to my aspiration. Today, I can confidently claim that I am one step closer to realizing my dreams. Sorry guys, I'm going to digress a bit. I have to get mankind on board. I believe it is the turn of women to rise up. It is the turn for women to come to the front. Ladies can do it too. A woman is a person in the family that manages the affairs of their home, which includes providing food, teaching the children personal hygiene, supervising their education and social activities. However, we too can make a difference if we exert effort and have aspirations. A study conducted by the King's College London has indicated that giving women greater education and economic empowerment benefit their household, community, ultimately their country. Education is power, especially in today's world and standard. An educated woman drives her family, community, or nation to glory. According to the UNICEF, girls' education strengthens academic and reduces inequality. It contributes to more stable, resilient societies that give all individuals, including boys and men, the opportunity to fulfill their potential. But education for girls is about more than access to school. It is also about girls feeling safe in classroom and supported in the subject and career they choose to pursue, including those in which they are often underrepresented. UNICEF also reported that the underrepresentation of women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics career is shaped by gender stereotypes, bias, and norms. Gender stereotypes and lack of role models to affect girls' interest in STEM from an early age. Yet, even when women get STEM degree, many do not pursue STEM jobs. The evidence is glaring at the 3 colleges where female representation is marginalized. However, most female graduating from the science college will prefer to go into the medical field or public health, therefore bridging the gap to increase female in STEM education in Liberia is paramount to national building. Women graduating today, I would want to encourage us all that we can get other young girls to do what we are doing today by coming to the classroom. In that way, we become role models. Fear, the most common barrier that prevents a woman from pursuing a career in science. This is a difficult task. Chemistry, mathematics are difficult. The notes are too much and complicated. I can make it to study all night. These are just comments that demonstrate a woman's apprehension. Fear develops in your thoughts as you embrace and follow it. Its goal is to keep you from showing your capacity. Today, I stand here to encourage all ladies to reject this so-called fear and return to the task of studying for long periods. We see that women in science and engineering are trailing beyond men in today's world. Though some are making progress, I must admit that the dues of the 2021 graduating class of the A.M. Liati College of Medicine, Dr. Hawa Limit, is a typical example that ladies are making progress in overcoming myths of fear. However, additional encouragement is required. One way to do so is for the Liberian government and private sector to provide more opportunity for female engineers and science graduates, whether through scholarship or jobs. Just take a good look at our destined graduates. It is undeniable that males outnumber females in science and engineering at this noble university. During my chemistry 401 section, I saw that out of 30 students, there were only 5 women. I pursued the list of the candidates that will be graduating with distinction and realized that a female is graduating from the physics department with honor. If she can do it, you can do it too. All I can say is that ladies are making significant strides, getting fear off balance. Fellow graduates, no matter our majors or objective, we all have a responsibility to our society and country. Whether we work in agriculture, engineering, architecture, business, or the sciences, we must challenge ourselves to be engaged rather than focusing simply on our selfish ideas, status, or ambition for greatness. Frederick Douglass in 1857 noted that if there is no struggle, there is no progress. I am sure we can all attest to the truth of this remark, whether it was struggling to life away from homes or university hinders. We have all grown stronger, more refined, and clever version of ourselves due to the numerous trials we have faced. Today we join with our families and friends to reflect on who we have become, how we have become, and who we can become to our foundational college experiences. After college, life shall not revolve around being inactive or silent. Just take the relationship created over the last 4 or 5 years and the specific passion that have emerged and apply them to this degree in a meaningful and constructive way. Fellow graduates, today is our last day in undergraduate program. And as we prepare for our future, as we move into tomorrow, let us remember Frederick Douglass' words. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. And progress in our neighborhoods, communities, districts, and our nation can only happen when brilliant minds like ours decide to become engaged in education, and I have no doubt we will. Bishop Daddy Mill once said that we work for hard work is more work. As you have worked hard to obtain this degree today, you are expected to do more. Fellow graduates, I want you to feel proud of yourself, to celebrate your achievement in any little way, and to move into the society eager to do even more exciting things. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again. God bless you.
There is no struggle without progress. Remember that, graduates. When I have our introduction of a guest speaker, Ms. Roselyn Disnor, salutatorian agronomy. Roselyn.
Professor Dr. Judah Saola Nelson Jr., President of the University of Liberia, distinguished personalities, parents, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on existing protocol. I'm pleased and honored to be the salutator of this group of future scientists, doctors, engineers, agriculturists, foresters, and so on, to introduce the honorable keynote speaker at this all-important commencement convocation program. Our keynote speaker was born in Princess, Grand Crew County, in southeastern Liberia. He started his education at the St. Patrick Elementary and Junior High School in Princess, Grand Crew County. He got his high school diploma from Our Lady of Fatima High School in Harper, Maryland County. He later enrolled at the University of Liberia and graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Geology with the distinction of cum laude. Our keynote speaker earned his Master of Science degree in Geology from the University of Rochester in New York, United States of America. Our keynote speaker served as an assistant professor of geology and associate dean of the College of Engineering at the University of Liberia for many years. He is also a former assistant minister for energy and assistant minister for mineral exploration and research at the Ministry of Mines and Energy of the Republic of Liberia. Our keynote speaker also served as several national positions, notably Chair, Petroleum Technical Committee, National Oil Company of Liberia, for short NOCAI, Secretary, Internal Ministerial Mineral Technical Committee, Focal Point of Liberia, United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, and negotiator for Liberia and Focal Point, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. He was awarded the honor of Alfred Fellow, International Institute of Education, New York, United States of America, and alternate finalist of Fulbright Fellowship. Our keynote speaker was overwhelmingly elected as Senator for Grand Crew County in December of 2014, and currently serves as the President Pro-Tempore of the Liberian Senate. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we rise to welcome our most illustrious and honorable keynote speaker, Honorable Senator Professor Albert Chie, to the podium to address the graduates and audience. Thank you.
My fellow students, I will speak to you today through you to all students and all graduates in radio land in our country. As you have heard, I was a student here before. I was a faculty member. Then I left to go in another branch of government, the legislature. So, as you know, professor is always a professor. So I wrote for you 23 pages. But I was warned by the acting chair of the board that the last guest speaker spent only 13 minutes. So I will try to do the 23 pages in 23 minutes. If it is not possible, I will publish my speech and you will read it later on. Malcolm X once said that education is your passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to people who prepare for it today. I salute all of the students who are about to graduate from the College of Science and Technology, now added Climate Change and Environment, the College of Agriculture, the College of Engineering, my birthplace, and the School of Nursing and Midwifery. As you know, the 4 colleges from which you are graduating today are the stiffest and most difficult undergraduate programs. Therefore, please accept my congratulations. Dr. Julius Nelson, President of the University of Liberia, Honorable Dixon Simbo, Acting Chair of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Moses Zena, Vice President for Academic Affairs and other Vice Presidents, Assistant Professor James McLean, my former colleague, College of Science and Technology Dean, Associate Professor Leroy Doisebe, Dean, College of Agriculture and Forestry, Professor N. Humbo Tule, Distinguished Dean of the College of Engineering, Mrs. Cynthia K.B. Jones, Coordinator, the Program of Midwifery and Nursing. And for the rest, may I beg your indulgence to stand on existing protocol. As I said earlier, I'm happy to be back home. I served here for close to 20 years, from instructor of geology and general engineering to an associate professor, head of division of engineering, who was then the head of now the College of Engineering. I joined Dr. Nelson and Professor McLean to pay homage and great respect to Dr. Emmett A. Dennis for his understanding that the Division of Engineering had to transition to a full-fledged college without further delay. May his soul rest in perfect peace. I'm thus happy and gratified that the Division of Engineering is now a full-fledged college. So I'm here today to, among other things, pay my respect to those who made this possible, those before me, those along with me, and those after me. Fellow students, it is a distinguished honor and a privilege, and I'm very humble that I was chosen from among numerous options available to the president of the university and the board of trustees to serve as today's convocation speaker, especially to the 4 graduating colleges. I thank in particular Dr. Julius Nelson, a former colleague of the Faculty Senate, someone who, along with some of us, restarted the university on the trees on Capitol Hill after the first phase of the Liberian civil crisis in 1992, with no faculty annual salary, when there was virtually no facility on campus for reaching out to us. I very respect that. Our people here and in Radio Land, as Liberia celebrates its bicentennial, we join other speakers at the UL Founders Day program to recall the role of the university in the last 20 years or thereafter. Lux in tenebris, light in darkness, the birthplace of multi-party democracy through the voice of students and faculty, the training ground for the workforce that drove the economy and consequently opened up the country. As Liberia commemorates and celebrates its bicentennial, also in memory of those who set their feet on this soil around 1821, we consider it most appropriate for Liberia to use part of this year to also pay respect to those who fought for equality, justice, respect for human rights, and multi-party democracy. Special mention is made of great Liberians like Albert Pote, Joan Nimne, P.G. Wallow, and younger contemporaries like G. Bacchus Matthews, President Samuel K. Doe, Dr. Amos C. Sawyer, who have all transitioned, and a few others like Dr. Toba Natibote, who are still with us. Fellow citizens, we also deem it most appropriate also that during this bicentennial year, Liberia takes the final move to review some of its national symbols to reflect the true historical identity of our nation. As many people say, for the seen love of liberty that brought us here, the seen love of liberty made us here. We can better put the motto as, the love of liberty unites us. Additionally, as we place medals on some Liberians and foreign friends for good works and ordain them in the order of the pioneers, there is also a need to create another order to reflect the true nature of our history. I commit to the Liberian Senate to take the lead in further deliberation and resolution of the matter. As Liberia experienced some difficult periods in history, the university also had been going through some difficult periods. Notwithstanding, we give credit to the men and women, our forefathers and foremothers, for braving the storm during the period of the Liberian College and its successor institution, the UL, which was hit by high challenges. I also deem it appropriate to register profound gratitude and appreciation to the current members of the university administration, faculty senate, and the dedicated faculty and staff who inherited numerous challenges but are doing all that is possible to have the university preserve its image and prestige. Distinguished colleagues, I had the opportunity to see the university, what it was before 1990, and what it has been since the civil crisis. I would not make any attempt to make a comparison, but let me use this opportunity to pay homage to some of the men and women I saw, I heard of, not going through distant history, most especially when I was a student here. At the university level, Dr. J. Bernard Blambo, Dr. Mary Anthony Brown Sherman, Dr. James C. Etape, Dr. Patrick L. Nseyon, Dr. Joseph G. Morris, Dr. Ben A. Roberts, Dr. Hal Asan Conte, and Dr. Emmett A. Dennis. At the level of the College of Science and Technology, Dean Dennis, Dr. Dixon Red, Dr. Mary T. Bryant, Professor Alfred Amma, Professor Victor E. Ward, Professor Frederick Honda, Dr. Kohine, Dr. Walla Topo, among other professionals. At the Division of Engineering, Professor Charles Rostrom, Professor Francis Cooper, Dr. Itungwa Marshall, Dr. Kabene Koroma, Professor Pabri Gangole, Mr. Willie Jones, Honorable Gabriel Tucker, Professor Cletus Watterson, Dr. Eugene Shannon, Dr. Nathaniel Richardson, Dr. Thomas Boka, Professor Mombake Willie, Professor Jim Zaulo, Professor Gosmo, Professor Mark Brockler, and many more engineers. From the William Arotabo Junior College of Agriculture and Forestry, I remember and recall the roles of Dr. Francis Conversio, Professor Eric Eastman, the Dinkins, Dr. Roland Masiko, Dr. Moses Zina, and many others. I cannot stand here and leave without paying my respect to all of these professors and administrators, some of whom were my own professors. Fellow students, Dr. Nelson and the Board of Trustees really gave me a particular topic to speak on because they want me to share my experiences with the students here and the students all around the country. I will therefore speak to you briefly on the topic, science as a basic ingredient in the political and economic recipe. Are you ready to change the narrative? Let me start by saying that scientists and engineers don't speak for long. Our messages are short and to the point. Our figures are accurate. Our predictions are based on scientific principles, and we are concerned with speed and accuracy. And for us, time is money. As you leave these corridors of the academic world, please work harder, please do more, please talk little, and talk only when you have something positive to contribute. Fellow citizens and visitors, I should also point out that Liberia is blessed to have very young, beautiful, and handsome graduates like you who will be entering the labor force. Please accept our congratulations one more, as well as for your parents, guardians, sponsors, family members, and friends. The future is all yours. As Shakespeare said, remember that life is like a candle on a stage, very brief. Make the most of it while you can. Liberia depends on you to change the narrative. My distinguished colleagues, parents, friends, and family of graduates, the foundation of engineering, technology, agriculture and forestry, medicine and health is science. Therefore, all of you will share the common heritage, and you are all interlinked. For anyone who studies pure science can be trained easily as an engineer, as an agriculturist, as a forester, as a physician, as a nurse, as a midwife. My fellow students, one may ask, what are the relationships between your fields of study and the performance of the Liberian economy and our country's macroeconomic stability? What role can you play or should you play in the political and economic recipe to be able to contribute to a change in the present narrative? Please permit me to use a few minutes to draw your attention to the current narrative from my point of view. It is also said that your point of view, where you stand, determines your viewpoint. You may therefore not necessarily agree with me from my point of view because we are standing at different points. So first, let me deal with agriculture. You students who are graduating today in agriculture, remember that despite the bountiful rain, vast stretches of land, free manpower like you today, despite an array of programs well funded by the national budget and international donors and contributions, our country has failed in agricultural production. We import almost everything, including oranges and pepper. Self-sufficiency in rice production, our staple food, remains elusive. On the average, Liberia imports 250,000 metric tons of rice. That is equivalent to 10 million of the 25 kg bags at a cost of $140 million US dollars annually. This importation continues to dwindle our foreign exchange earnings and impacts negatively on our balance of trade position and the achievement of macroeconomic stability. Leadership also in the agricultural sector also remains elusive. One president after the other has tried various qualified persons to run the sector, including managers from the private sector. Still, agricultural productivity remains very low. What are we doing wrong? My young prospective graduates, are you ready to change the narrative in the political and economic recipe? The next is engineering. First, I deal with the issue of electricity. The government and its partners have spent hundreds of millions of US dollars since the end of the civil crisis to now in an attempt to provide reasonable and affordable electricity to our homes and businesses. But power supply remains elusive. The government has taken steps to reform the sector. In 2014, the legislature passed a new electricity law that unbundled the sector. That is, opportunities for private sector investment were created and the monopoly by the LEC was to have ended. The reform done in line with international best practices saw the designation of the Ministry of Mines and Energy as the institution for policy setting, the creation of the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission as the institution for regulation, and the LEC as the operator. Windows were also opened for more operators. The donors brought in management contractors, pumped in millions, and the government also contributed millions to the national budget. Since the end of the civil crisis, our people in the various communities and businesses are still crying for legitimate connections, for transformers, and for reliable electricity. Due to its failure to deliver, Liberians have named the LEC Liberia Expected Current or Liberia Emergency Current. Some of the problems in the power sector can be put squarely at the feet of the engineers and the technicians. Prospective engineers, your country is waiting on you to change the narrative. The civil engineers even have more challenges. Poor quality of road work and other infrastructure. Poor road designs. The Ministry of Public Works gives out road contracts, and the responsible engineer who should monitor the progress and quality of the road work goes to sleep. Consequently, the country does not get the value for money. For the mining engineer and geologist, illicit mining throughout the country has become a national emergency. Foreign nationals have taken over the small-scale mining sector, often mining illegally with little or no return to the affected communities and the country. The government has tried many methods to control illicit mining, but the situation is still pervasive because many of the technical personnel are not up to the task. My prospective graduates, these are some of the challenges in the mining sector that are negatively impacting our economy and the macroeconomic stability of our state. We are waiting for you to help change the situation around. For foresters, forest engineers, woodland specialists, you have often heard that the southeastern part of this country is cut off from the rest of the country, especially during the rainy season. The primary road to Lofa is near Bar State, as well as other primary roads throughout the country. In the 1970s and 1980s, there were more than 50 logging companies that used to help maintain the roads throughout this country. Where are the companies? Logging used to contribute to the country's foreign exchange earnings. Presently, contribution from the logging sector to the national budget is almost negligible. New reforms in the forestry and logging sectors that pay blind eyes to the destroyers of the world's climate cover without just compensation to affected countries like ours are some of the factors leading to the dwindling foreign exchange earnings. You graduates have to be part of the policy designed to ensure that while the climate system is being protected, Liberia reaps benefits from its forest resources. We should not be made to reserve our forests to absorb gases and other pollutants from the factories of industrial countries, all in the name of mitigating the effect of climate change. They pollute the atmosphere and make money while we keep our forests to absorb the pollutants from the atmosphere and remain full. What is the way forward in our political and economic recipe? The last sector, the health sector, of which nurses and midwives are a part, the story is not different. Funds from the national budget to the health sector was $47.8 million in 2018-2019. It increased to $58.5 million in 2020-2021 and is projected at $66 million in 2020. As you see, the amount goes up every year. This is besides other funds from other sources. Despite this revenue allocation, the situation at GFK has not improved more, neither are the health delivery system throughout the country. Another predicament facing the health sector is that specialists are in short supply. Sometimes nurses and midwives will come to legislators that they need jobs in the various counties. As soon as their needs get on payroll, then they soon start finding all the excuses to take transfers to Monrovia and other urban areas. Please, graduates of the nursing and midwifery program, do not join the bandwagon. At higher level, the government is trying hard to find the funds, but the challenges remain there. A lot of technicians and technocrats in these sectors are now up to the task, and this is negatively impacting the economic growth of this country. I therefore challenge you, my fellow students, to come to the labor force with a new determination to change the status quo. Relying on business enterprises in the political and economic recipe. It is often said that the private sector can grow the economy. That is very true. But the government also finds challenges in dealing with and promoting the private sector. There is no doubt in my mind that many of you will eventually become businessmen and women utilizing your various professions. To grow our economy, we have to export more than import goods and services, or at a minimum, try to achieve a balance in imports and exports. Only businesses can help the government achieve this. You will often hear the slogan, Liberianization policy, that Liberians should not be spectators in their own economy. Yes, we agree. But let's take a look at ourselves and the current situation. Over the last several years, and going even back in history, the government has supported the Liberian private sector through a variety of programs, especially Liberian-owned businesses. But fellow citizens, you have to admit, unfortunately, or continue to remain in a state of denial that there is something wrong with us Liberians in running businesses? How do you explain the fact that a fuller man will come from Guinea, start with a waiter market, move to a shop, then to a store, and then enter into the importation and supply of the market on a large scale? Same with the Lebanese. Some will come in this country without a penny, start selling in his friend's store, later down the line own several stores, and remain in business and make millions. Distinguished students, ladies and gentlemen, many Liberian businesses don't strive and have a very short lifespan. Some erroneously blame the government inability to create the enabling environment for these businesses to strive. This assertion is not true. Let me cite a few instances of the intervention of the government to improve Liberian-owned businesses. You have probably heard about the tens of millions of US dollars the Central Bank of Liberia loaned Liberian-owned businesses during the regime of the CBL Governor Mills Jones to the Liberia Business Association. What has happened to those businesses? We received the loans, and what is the status of the loan repayment? My response, breeze. The Liberian Bank for Development and Investment, LBDI, is the only Liberian-owned bank among the many commercial banks in this country. Over the years, this bank has provided loans to many owned Liberian businesses to help them grow and stimulate the economy. Some of these loans were in technical areas like road construction, agriculture, food processing, petroleum trade, etc. If not for the intervention of the government through the national budget and the IMF, the bank would have collapsed long time ago. What has happened to the loan repayments and growth of these businesses? My response, breeze. Check the other commercial banks for loan repayments by Liberian-owned businesses and the growth of these businesses. The banks spend lots of money to prosecute Liberians and Liberian-owned businesses that have reneged on debt repayments. What is the status of these loan repayments and the impact of these businesses on the economy? My response, breeze. Most of us in this forum are old enough to recall the story of over 30 million US dollars grants in agricultural equipment and cash once upon a time provided by a foreign government for mechanized rice farming in northwestern Liberia. What is the status of the rice farms? What is the status of the equipment? What is the status of the funds? My response, breeze. The government has over many years given construction contracts to several Liberian-owned engineering companies to carry out periodic maintenance of vast stretches of primary roads all across the country. Why do you think the Southeast is not accessible by road during the rainy season? The government has given several Liberian businesses contracts worth millions of US dollars to maintain these roads. What is the performance of these engineering companies? My response, breeze. Over the last 4 years, the government has provided loans and assistance to Liberian-owned businesses through many schemes, like Small Business Scheme of the Ministry of Commerce, loans to the agricultural sector through the Ministry of Agriculture, and other loans and grants from bilateral and multilateral sources. Why some of these businesses have tried, the output of lots of these companies is breeze, breeze, and breeze. My fellow students, those of you who are old enough can recall that between 2006 and 2008, there was a foreign company that came to Liberia with interest in renewable energy to use biomass to supply electricity to Liberians. Eventually, that company settled in Grand Bassa County. I think that the name of the company was Liberia Renewable Energy Corporation, Liberesco. Liberia waited for several years and there was no electricity from that project. Do you know the name that Liberia started calling that company instead of Liberesco? Response, Librisco. So breeze. Federal prospective graduates in agriculture, forestry, nursing and midwifery, science and technology and engineering. A lot of you will end up in business. I challenge you to change the current dynamics in the Liberian business setting and join a few Liberian-owned businesses which are trying to make a difference. Fellow students, the question now is, along with your basic knowledge and skills you have acquired in various fields of studies, what else should you take along with you as you leave the UL? I'm a typical example of the axiom, you will never know where you will end up in life. For only God knows your final professional destination. As it is prescribed in the Holy Book, and I quote, "For I knew you when you were in your mother's womb." Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. Also, those whom he has predestined, he has also called. For those whom he has called, he also justified. And those whom he justified, he also glorified. Romans chapter 8 verse 29 to 30. You may major in physics and other science courses, but you may end up eventually as a bank manager. That is why, besides your core courses in science and your various disciplines, you are also required to complete general courses in English, social science, economics, philosophy, and so forth. For the college trains you and the university educates you. Of all the complicated calculus, linear algebra, integration in 2 dimensions in mathematics, engineering principles, difficult chemistry, and physics courses, and so forth, all of which are very important, but few other things I learned from my professor, mostly at undergraduate level, have helped me in life and are the guiding principles. What are these small things? So what lessons I learned at the university stuck with me. There are 2 basic things I learned in my first course in engineering at the UL. In the first course of engineering, we used to call it engineering orientation. It was worth 1 credit. It was taught by Professor Charles Rostrom. All of the engineering students had to do that course probably in 1 class. The first lesson was define engineering, and we were taught to memorize that. It was said, engineering is the professional art of applying science to the optimal conversion of natural resources for the benefit of men. The key words were for the benefit of men. Whatever you do should be for the benefit of men. Lesson number 2, from the senior Professor Charles Rostrom, in the first course of engineering. He asked us, true or false? True or false? The best time to study is late at night, when the place is very quiet and everybody is sleeping. All of us responded true, but the professor said it was false. We were shocked. He told us that the best time to study is not when everybody was sleeping at night. He said, when everybody is sleeping at night, you should also be sleeping. He said the best time to study was a little bit before bedtime and mostly very early in the morning, after you have slept well and your brain is fresh. Therefore, in life, I developed a habit where I take some my office work home, do some before bedtime, and rise around 5 o'clock in the morning to do the rest. If you do this, you will be very prepared and very productive. Your bosses and colleagues will definitely notice that, turn to you for more answers and results, and promotion and respect will follow. This is a precursor to a leadership position in your institution. Lesson number 3, perseverance. Perseverance is one of the determinants to success. The ability to be patient, try over and over, and find solution to a problem. You see, the president of Liberia, he tried several times before he became president. He persevered. Lesson number 4 and the final one for today. The ability to write will carry you far, very far. I taught a course in general engineering and report writing. All my students had to do this course. I told my students that you learn to write by writing. No matter your profession in life, you will always write. Your ability to write will carry you very far. One day I was on a Kenya Airways flight going to Accra. Then I heard, "Hello, Prof." Then I turned around. Then a young man said, "Prof, you will not remember me because you don't remember all your students. But you taught me report writing. I was a civil engineering student. I graduated from the UL with civil engineering degree. Well, presently I'm working with the United Nations in South Sudan. My proposal writing skills and my report writing skills have helped me a lot. Thank you, Prof, for teaching me." My fellow students, whether you are an electrical engineer, or nurse, or midwife, or geologist, or civil engineer, an agriculturist, or mechanical engineer, and so forth, any profession for that matter, you will have the responsibility to write. If you don't have, please start the habit of writing and reading. Don't be satisfied with the saying that Liberians don't like to read and never be in that group. It is never too late. You will never know your destiny. You could go anywhere. It is often said that the little things that matter. My fellow students, the university has done its part. From today, you are on your own. Let me remind you that there are hundreds of thousands of other Liberians studying in other parts of the world. Eventually, they will return home and compete with you for jobs in the market. But you have the advantage because you are homegrown. But remember, whatever you sow is what you shall reap. I thank the UL for preparing you to face the challenges of life and for all aspects of nation building. It is common knowledge that instructors work overtime to bring all its students to the minimum academic level. Let me let you know that it is also said that the academic background of some of our students from many secondary schools are very weak because of the ripple effect of the Liberian civil crisis. Despite the efforts of the government over the last few years, we are aware that funding is still a major challenge at this institution that may trigger some go-slow actions by faculty and students. We commit the legislature to continually work and do more for the university in budgetary appropriations. Nonetheless, despite all the constraints, the UL has stood tall and made many gains. We also thank the executive branch under the President of Liberia, George Manuel, for sponsoring several programs such as free tuition and benefits. We are also informed that the UHELP has commissioned the Lost Investment Project. This program is intended to generate funding for the UHELP to augment the efforts of the government. That is worthwhile. Distinguished students, a stable country is first and foremost the fundamental responsibility of all of us in creating a wholesome functioning society. In the absence of stability and guaranteed security, we run the existing and potential investors away and even send them into exile. Many of our children are graduating today, and soon they'll be out there tomorrow seeking employment or forming their own businesses. I wish all of them well in all they do, and I give them congratulations. As I'm concluding, for the benefit of some of you who eventually be politicians, let me spend 1 or 2 minutes to illustrate the relationship of your disciplines to political interplays. I use a definition of engineering I learned in my first course at the UL. As I mentioned previously, engineering was defined by Professor Charles Rostrom as the professional art of applying science to the optimal conversion of natural resources for the benefit of men. Like in engineering, all what we do in politics is for the benefit of men. For example, if President Weah builds a money market in Douala, it is for the benefit of men. If Dr. Nelson refurbishes the infrastructure of the UL campus and commissions the Lost Investment Platform, it is for the benefit of men. If US students assemble peacefully for better learning conditions, it is for the benefit of men once they don't engage in violence or obstruct the movement of others. If the CDC government lines up funding on the road from Ganta to the southeast, it is for the benefit of men. If the CDC government institutes free tuition at public higher institutions of learning, it is for the benefit of men. If the national economic growth reached 4.3% last year, according to the IMF, it is for the benefit of men. And if all Liberians work towards peace and national unity, it is for the benefit of men. My final words to the graduates. Graduate, please stand. Graduate, please stand. My final word to the graduates. According to John Piaget, a Swiss psychologist, the principal goal of education in the schools should be creating men and women who are capable of doing new things, not simply repeating what other generations have done. You become a role model the minute you enroll at a university. You became consultants to the government. You became ambassadors that should intervene in conflict resolution process. You became bedrock of the foundation that strengthens the governance system. How much more you imagine that our hearts are broken if the demeanor is otherwise. At this level, society looks up to you to devise strategies for good governance and rule of law. As Liberians, you have the responsibility to your country. You must be loyal to your country and be nationalistic. Demonstrate high level of love, devotion, and nationalism from the depth of your hearts, and always fight to protect the sovereignty you deserve. Your professors and administrators were not so tough and unreasonable as you thought. They were actually preparing you to be strong, courageous, independent, and law-abiding. People who came before you dedicated their time and sacrifice to have Liberia lead the forward march to quality education. It is said that it is hard to live until you live, and then it's the easiest thing in the world. But if you are brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. Congratulations. You may have your seat. To the university faculty and staff, your importance in society is beyond imagination. Your contributions cover all spheres of life, be it medical, engineering, agriculture, science, or business. You are like the engine that propels actors in these fields into action and professionalism, and without you, the human race would be like a dark space without illumination. You are like a GPS that provides direction to a lost person. Your role is indispensable in building a wholesome, functioning society. Your responsibility to your students should not only be restricted to the environment of the classroom. Students must be taught the doctrine of good governance, the doctrine of patriotism, and the doctrine of nationalism, the doctrine of respecting the norms of society, the doctrine of honesty, and the doctrine of social harmony along their areas of specialty. My deepest appreciation to you on behalf of all the students, including yourselves. To the university administration, our demanding task as a country is to produce the requisite human resource base that will lead this country and create the environment necessary for youth participation in the rebuilding process of a new and better Liberia. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., a man must have food for his body, education and culture for his mind, and freedom and dignity for his spirit. I believe that a man is never free until society sets him free by giving him all that is due him. Everything that is required, including basic education and the opportunity to be of service to his nation. In this light, I ask graduate students of these 4 colleges today for them to make entry into the competitive society. I am of the conviction that they are prepared fully to honor the daunting challenges of life in building a nation whose foundation is anchored on love, peace, humility, respect for one another, and the resolve for freedom and justice. Thank you for your contribution to nation building. To our parents, guardians, sponsors, and the government, I say a big thank you for all the sacrifices you made to keep your children in school up to this occasion. Profound gratitude and appreciation to the government for providing the necessary peace and security that allow the process of everyday learning. As I take my seat, let me again thank the administration of the university, the faculty and staff for their contribution to the modeling of these young brains. And you young brains, you have the cardinal responsibility of contributing your quota positively to the socio-economic development of your country, to use your background in science, in agriculture, engineering, and nursing as a principal ingredient in the socio-economic and political recipe and change the narrative. Together, we cannot fail. Thank you, and may God guide and protect the states.